Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing amazing. This is your boy Case. I'm coming at you guys again with another video. So today I actually wanted to talk about something that's actually a very interesting topic. Now, I'm going to be talking about some Final Fantasy VII. Most of you guys don't even know that this is my favorite game of all time, but I am going to be unpacking a lot in this video. So make sure you guys hit that rate, like, comment, and subscribe button if you guys like content like this. But if you do not want to be spoiled, I want to highly suggest to you guys that there will be spoilers talked about in this video. And if you don't want to be spoiled, please back out right now. So diving right in, let's talk about something, because here's what I actually want to talk about. I want to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I want to talk about what I believe is going to happen in this game. Now, here's the thing. I've seen the story leaks that have been put out there, and I am not going off of that leak. There's no way to prove that that is accurate. There is no way to prove that that is, factual information. But I want to talk about what I've been kind of thinking about coming out of the remake, about what's going to happen in part 2. Because after watching the live stream, I am pretty certain, I am clear on what's going to happen in part 2, because I think that it's all a setup for this. And I'm going to just drop the bomb right here. Cloud is going to die in part 2. And I'm going to tell you why. If we reflect back to remake, there was at the ending scene where Cloud fights Sephiroth and they have their little exchange and dialogue. Sephiroth said a couple of things that was very, very important. Everything he said in that scene was important in my personal opinion. The first thing he said was that he said, "Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together." And then he also mentioned, he said, "I will not end, nor will I have you end." And then this is the most important quote of that entire fight. 7 seconds to the end, time enough for you perhaps. What will you do with it? Let's see. Now, I'm going to break this down for a little bit, because this is a very, very important quote. 7 seconds till the end, time enough for you perhaps. What that already is foreshadowing is that Cloud is going to be faced with a decision that only he can answer to. And he's not going to have much time to be able to make that decision. Now, what are the outcomes that could potentially come from that? It's only one or two outcomes, guys. And I'm going to just tell you exactly what they are. The first outcome this is the nice outcome, but they're both bad, but this is the nice one. The nice one is Cloud just betrays the party. He's faced with a decision that only he can answer to, so he's going to be therefore forced to have to betray us, because he's going to have to make a tough decision. If he doesn't make that decision, possibly what could happen is something bad happens to the people that he cherishes most. Because you remember if you remember and recall what type of character Sephiroth is, he's not the type of character who kills people. He doesn't kill his enemy. He likes to torture his enemy. He likes to see them suffer. He likes to take whatever your favorite thing is, put it in front of your face, and then make you watch him kill it, so that you feel despair, so that you feel like you don't want to continue moving forward with life. You just constantly are suffering forever. That's the type of person that Sephiroth is. So because of that, that is the type of decision that Cloud may be faced with. The second thing that may happen is this: Cloud is going to die, like I just mentioned. And I think that this is more so going to happen because I'm just kind of projecting that this is all a setup for Cloud's death. And this is the sad part about it, is that this is going to piss off a lot of people in the fan base, because Cloud is one of the most beloved characters in this entire trilogy. She is the most beloved character in this entire Final Fantasy series. But the reason why Cloud has to die is, and this is just my personal opinion, is because anybody who's played the OG Final Fantasy VII knows how impactful that when Aerith died, if you played that game for the first time and you saw Aerith die, you understand how emotional of a scene that scene was for anybody, boy or girl. It doesn't matter how tough you think you are. That was a very, very emotional scene, and you felt something when you seen her die. It was a very, very sad scene. Now, here's the reason why Cloud has to die. Because You can't just recreate Aerith's death because it's been oversaturated throughout the times. We've seen that scene over and over and over and over again. You're not gonna get the same impact that as seeing something for the first time. So you can't just slap some better graphics on something and expect to, feel that same emotion, that same feeling as you did when you first experienced, that hard death. So I'm pretty sure Square Enix knows that. And I'm also pretty sure that Square Enix would like to not end Final Fantasy VII here. They would actually like to continue on creating games for it. So here's the thing. You can't just give Final Fantasy any game. You can't just give any game that's going to be a remake or an old game, because I'm going to be honest with you, this even though Rebirth and Remake is new to us, in about 10 or 20 years it's going to be old to us. And how do companies typically continue on their most beloved games, or their beloved franchises? Well, they usually just slap better graphics on them. But you can't really do that because graphics have just kind of gotten to a point in today's society where they look so great, you can't really go that much beyond that. And it's, I'm pretty sure you can give it better graphics in 20 years, but it's still gonna look fairly great today. Like, today's graphics are amazing. They look very, very realistic. So going back to my point, you can't do that. So if you want to create that same impact, but you also don't want to create a kind of a closing position for Final Fantasy VII. You want to continue on with the story, to continue to make money from this franchise. What do? You actually recreate, you have to recreate that scene to give it the same impact. So what, in my personal opinion, who is the most beloved character outside of Aerith or Sephiroth? It's Cloud. Cloud's the poster boy. He's literally the most beloved characters in this entire series. So here's the funny part about this. This is how I know Cloud is going to die. This is how I'm fairly certain Cloud's going to die. If they don't kill Cloud, I'll be super shocked at this point. They introduced in the live stream Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they called it Reunion. Why would you remake Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core? Let's just think about that for a second. Why would you bring it back now? And then not just that, why would you release it? Because they showed us when the games are going to be releasing. This game is specifically coming out right before Rebirth comes out. Why would they do that? Because it's very intentional. I hope you guys understand that. The reason why they're doing that is because Square Enix knows that in part 2 of Final Fantasy VII, Cloud is going to die. And I'm pretty certain that they know that this is going to piss off a lot of the fan base. And because it's going to piss off a lot of the fan base, for the people who love Cloud, the people who have not, the people who have built a relationship with Cloud, it will be very, very hard for a lot of people to just accept Zack becoming the main character of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And here's why: because the new player base, not the OGs. The OGs are already familiar with who Zack is. They've played Crisis Core. They played Final Fantasy VII. They already have a connection and a relationship with that character. The new player base, they don't. So how do you cause people to build a relationship with Zack and a connection with him before Rebirth? You create a remake of Crisis Core. That's going to give them an opportunity to create a relationship with that character. That's going to give them an opportunity to build a connection with them, become more familiar with that character, so that when you do kill Cloud, the transition of inserting Zack into Cloud's position is going to be a lot more smoother. You're not going to get a lot of backlash. So because of that, it's going to be a lot more easier. That's why Reunion is coming out before freaking Rebirth. Now, that is just pretty much my theory of why everything's happening the way that it's happening. I'm also going to say this too on record, that Genesis is going to come up at some point. I've already seen the leak thing, all that stuff. Like I said, I'm not going off of that. The reason why I know Genesis is coming back is because in Intergrade, they were talking about deep ground stuff. They were even talking about deep ground stuff even before Renegade. And Dirge of Cerberus story secret. Dirge of Cerberus, spoiler alert, had an ending that was a secret ending that showed that Genesis was still alive at the end of Final Fantasy VII. After that, these are the events that took place after Advent Children. Genesis was still alive, and Weiss ended up taking Weiss was defeated, and freaking Genesis took Weiss's body, and he had a beating. He had a black wing, and he took his body and flew off. So that was never explained, like what happened after that. We never got a continuation from that point. I'm actually gonna say that Genesis is actually gonna be a main character in this game. I'm positive he will be at some point, because I knew Genesis was coming back the minute I saw Weiss. When I seen Weiss come into the boss fight, into that thing, I was like, oh, Genesis is for sure coming back. He's for sure coming back. And at some point, I guarantee Weiss will probably make a return too. So Integrate only solidified that thought process. You know, I'm like, oh, this is for sure gonna happen. So the main thing that I just want to point out and highlight to you guys is just that Cloud is probably going to die in part 2. If it's not part 2, it is definitely going to be part 3. Cloud is going to be the person who is going to die. He is going to be the person that is going to be removed from the equation. Because if you guys were, like I said, Sephiroth he's already said it. He's like, you need to let me. There's something that Sephiroth knows that only he can do with Cloud. And this is the funny thing about it. The whole alternate timeline thing makes this such a much more smoother process. And here's why. Remember I just said that killing Cloud is going to piss off the community. Well, it's going to piss off the community because when you kill Cloud for the first time, people are going to feel it and people are going to be mad. So it's going to feel as if Cloud was taken out of the equation. But here's the thing. This is Square Enix. You don't permanently get rid of the poster boy, because the poster boy is what makes you money. So you don't permanently get rid of Cloud. What you do is you create 2 Clouds so that it makes it easier to kill one Cloud and keep the other. That way he's not really dead, but he is dead. Boom. Done. It is such a smart way. It is such a smart way to be able to continue the story, create the same impact, and create that same emotion that was in part 1, and continue on with the story. Now, the whole Genesis thing, that is all future stuff. I have no idea what's going to happen with that, but this is basically the events of what's happening after Dirge of Cerberus. That's taking place in Remake and Rebirth. This is basically that stuff right now. But I'm telling you guys, Cloud is going to die. And if you are not ready, you need to get ready. Because that scene is going to freaking break the internet. I promise you, especially in the gaming community, that scene will break the freaking internet. It is going to just tear it up, man. But those are my thoughts. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and comment down in the comment section below. Make sure you guys rate, like, comment, and subscribe if you like this type of content. I will catch you guys in the next one. That's your boy Kays. See ya.